Today I want to talk to you guys about this young man here who I've spoken about several times in the past on the channel. It is of course Giorgio Scalvini, the 19-year-old Italian centre-back currently playing for Atalanta and regularly representing the Italian first team. Mainly what I want to discuss is his profile, what he has as a player, a new role I think he could potentially play in the future, and why, in general, I think he could be a really good signing for Manchester United. So let's get into it. So before we continue into the video, a quick shout out to today's video sponsor, JerseyFifa.com, the home of all of the greatest football kits. Whether that be the new latest releases or the old classic ones like this, Jersey FIFA has something for everyone, and now you can check it out yourself using the link in the description down below. And also make sure to use code JerseyFIFA for 10% off when you order. So first things first, a quick FBref chart where we can see that in general he ranks very nicely and looks like quite a well-rounded player. Now you'll see things like clearances, for example, are quite low there, but that's kind of affected by the team that he plays for. In terms of assists, he's very high, shots total, non-penalty goals, blocks, interceptions, tackles, progressive passes received, successful take-ons, progressive carries, progressive passes. He ranks very well in a lot of different areas, and that is because all round he's a really nicely rounded centre-back. If we get it up on screen here we go. So what do we get when we watch Giorgio Scalvini play? We get, for me, the proper modern-day centre-back in terms of his technical ability on the ball. I would describe him as press-resistant when he receives the ball facing play. So let's say the goalkeeper's going to take a goal kick to him, nice and simple. He's going to be put under pressure like this. Giorgio Scalvini is a player who is comfortable in these positions. He's not someone who panics and tries to quickly get rid of the ball. He composes himself, he takes his time and then plays out from the back. Something which allows him to play out from the back quite nicely is that he is quite two-footed on the ball. So that will allow him sometimes to play a right-footed pass out to the right back, but then on another occasion he'll manipulate the ball onto his left foot and play it across. This makes it much more difficult to press him because he can go either way. He can also go either way due to his agility, his ability to turn on the ball. Now this isn't something which you would necessarily expect when you look at him. He's actually about 6'4" tall. He's a tall, wiry frame. He doesn't scream agility, but he actually turns quite nicely on the ball and also uses his size well to protect the ball when the opposition are trying to tackle him. So he can play out under pressure with, quite simple passes, but also agility, turning ability, and the ability to move past his man and take the ball forward. So I really like him in that way, and he'd be an upgrade on someone like Rafael Varane or Harry Maguire in terms of press resistance in the first phase. In terms of a little bit higher up the pitch, he's again very comfortable on the ball. This is a good technical footballer. He's got a good technical base and a good technical foundation. Mainly basing his game, I would say, around short passing. This isn't a centre-back who regularly wants to play these long Hollywood switches of play. These Hollywood passes, he's not constantly firing them out there. Perhaps, he needs to do that more in the future. But the way he currently plays is a lot of short, sharp passes through the lines. That's the way he likes to progress the ball. And because he currently often plays in more of a back three with Atalanta, it means that he's used to kind of firing a pass in here, then he'll be given the license to move a little bit further forward, then he might receive the ball again, move it on, and then receive the ball again. This is a progressive centre-back, someone who's constantly looking to move forward up the pitch. And again, it's short, sharp passing. It's not about long balls or long switches of play. Quick football, two-touch football, again using either feet, allowing him to progress the ball. However, as we saw in that FBref graph earlier, if we quickly go back to it, we can also see that for progressive carries, he ranks in the 80th percentile, and for successful take-ons, the 84th percentile, showing that not only can he progress the ball via passing, but also stepping forward with the ball. Again, normally playing in a back three, he is given this license to carry the ball forward, and it's something he does brilliantly well. So not only does he do it in the first phase, being press resistant, beating his man, but he also does it much higher up the pitch. He's a very, very good ball carrier, stepping forward into open space, allowing him to progress the ball for his side. He's also, really good from a defensive point of view, as you would hope for from a defender. But he's got a really good reading of the play for a 19-year-old. He's very aggressive. He's very, very good in the air at 6'4" tall. Doesn't tend to get out-jumped. He's a big guy. My concern would perhaps be over actually his physical frame. He's not the most powerful athlete you're ever going to see in the world, but he still uses his body quite well. He's good in 1-versus-1 situations, again adjusting his body, using his muscle to allow him to win the ball. He reads the play excellently, ranking really well for things like interceptions, showing that ability to defend on the front foot, kind of nip in front of the opposition before they get the ball, win the ball back for his side, and then play from there. It's a reason why, for example, he doesn't rank so well in clearances, because he prefers to play more on the front foot, a little bit higher up the pitch, stepping in, winning the ball back for his side, making him, again, a very good young centre-back. However, I do have concerns. One concern, as I've said already, is pure physical power. You know, we can see in his frame here, he's not the biggest, most muscular, powerful guy you're ever going to see, which would be a concern in the Premier League. My other concern is actually his agility out of possession. Whilst his agility on the ball may be a real plus size to his game, his agility out of possession is not so great, and he starts to look a little bit rigid and stiff in the way that he turns. He also isn't blessed with tons of recovery pace to really make up for it. He's not a slow individual, but he doesn't really eat up the ground. So for example, let's say a ball gets played over the top like this from the other side for a striker running through. He's not a player which turns particularly well to face his own goal and then run backwards. And again, not then having that recovery pace would be a little bit concerning. And of course, particularly alongside Lisandro Martinez, that could be a problem. So I don't think Scalvini is cut out yet to be a Premier League centre-back. Because I think he's probably, you know, too interested in carrying the ball forward on a regular basis. He really likes to play in these forward areas. He's used to playing in a back three, which gives him this licence. He's also very much an aggressive front foot defender. Coupled with Lisandro Martinez, who is also exactly the same, doesn't really work. You can't have two aggressive defenders because then you leave too much space in behind you. You need a cover defender. So I don't quite think that Scalvini works as a centre-back alongside Lisandro Martinez. However, I have labelled Scalvini as an incredibly good technical footballer, whose only real issue, for me personally, is turning and running back towards his own goal at a quick speed. So how can we address that to still make him a good signing? Well, we could mould him into a player more like Declan Rice. And I really see similarities here. Now, this might seem like a weird thing to kind of throw out there, because Scalvini has actually only played 6 games in midfield in his career. However, if you watch him, I really see a similar profile to Declan Rice. Now, like Declan Rice in his earlier career, he's not there yet, you know. He's not a high-profile player, someone who's used to ticking the ball over constantly for his side. He's not used to doing that yet. However, as we've seen with Declan Rice, he certainly could go on that development path in his career, and he could become that, because he has a lot of the assets to do so. So let's say he replaced someone like Casemiro, Harry Maguire comes in at centre-back, Scalvini goes into midfield. I think we now address a lot of his problems. In terms of in possession, I don't think we would see press resistance in the same way, but I think he would be a good kind of bounce pass, a good wall pass option. So when you're under pressure, he's the sort of player where you pass it to him and he's going to bounce it off to someone else. Again, the fact he is two-footed would allow him to play these bounce passes either way, which would actually be incredibly valuable to this United side. In terms of further up the pitch in possession, we know that he likes to keep the ball on the floor. He's a good passer, very, very good in these areas. We know that he likes to carry the ball forward, something which United really lack. He has that bit of skill, that bit of agility to beat his man in these areas. United could really do with this, someone who can actually just properly carry the ball forward through the midfield. If you also needed it, he would provide tactical flexibility, the ability to perhaps push the fullbacks further forward, switch into more of a 3-1 shape like this. This is definitely something that he could do, and he would be comfortable dropping into any position here, to the left, in the centre, or to the right-hand side. This is something from a tactical point of view, which really makes Scalvini look like quite a nice fit for this United side. Again, in midfield, he's going to provide some defensive security. He offers better ground coverage than what someone like Casemiro, Christian Eriksen do. He's good in his duels. He's good in the air, something which United also lack in their midfield. I genuinely think he would tick a lot of boxes. Now, we're not going to go too much further with this particular video because, like I've said, we've only seen him in midfield on 6 occasions. But I would definitely say this is something you should watch out for. Watch out for, you know, even when he plays centre-back, how well does he step into midfield? How well does he receive the ball with his back to play? Things like that. I think if he can improve in that area and also just become that high-volume dictating player, there's a lot of potential here for a really good holding midfielder. Someone who could play for United, absolutely, but also the mould of a Manchester City player is something which I could see happening in the next few years. I think if you want to play him as a centre-back, you probably need more of a back three at the moment. However, I think he could be that hybrid between centre-back and midfield, which we know a lot of clubs love at the moment, or he could be a pure midfielder. I think there's a lot of options for him, so again, I wanted to bring him to your attention. I think he's a top young player. We know what Italian centre-backs are like. They're normally of a very good level. Scalvini is no different. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. Do you think he's good enough as a centre-back for United? Do you think he's a player which could be transitioned into a midfielder? That's personally where I see his long-term career. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Also, while you're in the comments, and you're down there in general, leave a like, get notifications on for the channel, and also subscribe. But apart from that, we are finished for today's video. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you have enjoyed it. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.